The entire east wing of the White House is gone. Initially, they said that the ballroom renovation would not destroy anything. It would only add to the existing facility. Then they said they were only removing a sort of parking alcove on the side so that they could more seamlessly blend in the new construction. But no, obviously, given the administration, it's they just destroyed the entire East Wing. It's all gone. They destroyed the whole thing. They really hate this country, man. Yeah, fuckers took the East Wing, can't have shit in DC. Can't full screen that? That's fine. Whatever, man. American Century of Humiliation. Yep. They said it would take a projected 6 years to fully rebuild it. Oh, God, yeah. Construction, especially elaborate construction, takes time. The White House is going to be an ugly construction site for years and years to come. The whole thing is just going to be swamped with construction crew, the machinery. Just tore it down. The American Century of Humiliation, man. Like, they're really defiling the Capitol building. And, well, not the Capitol building, a building in the Capitol, the White House, the executive building, so on and so forth. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Osama bin Laden could never. Can you imagine if, like, a plane crashed into the East Wing, did this amount of damage? It would be, it would be another, I mean, it would literally be another 9/11, right? It would be a massive deal. No real difference here. I mean, they didn't even, like, clear it, the East Wing. They didn't even, like, properly preserve or protect everything in there. They just did it. From the guys who, these are the, as I so wisely noted on Twitter, these are the people who act like you're destroying history when you take down a bunch of identical Robert E. Lee Confederate statues that were put up in the 1950s. Entire East Wing of the White House. And by the way, nobody cares. Not a single Republican cares. You can find, go look on social media. They're all gleefully lying about it. They're like, renovations have happened before. No one's ever torn down a wing. Also, they explicitly lied about what they were going to be doing. Just no communication whatsoever. I mean, misinformation, disinformation, deliberately so. And they're out there, they're saying the East Wing is a newer addition. They're saying the East Wing is Jewish. They're saying the East Wing is for women or cucked or whatever else. He tore down the mural that said the White House was owned by the people, not the president. Yeah, Whew. President Xi, it wouldn't matter if you fired the missiles at this point. What difference would it make? And it's also being paid for in bribes. Yes, the whole thing is being paid for privately in what is effectively dark money, because a lot of the amounts are not being, like, publicly disclosed. It's being paid for privately, and it's being paid for by corporations that are favorable to Trump. So they're basically trying to curry favor with Trump by contributing to this big dark money pit. The ballroom donors were feted at a White House dinner last week. Adelson Family Foundation, Altria Group, Amazon. Yeah. I'm sure you can. Yeah, you know the type of people. It's just like, it's like the inauguration fund. It's just a way of dumping money into the presidency. I seriously don't get the political goal with this ballroom. I literally just think they're Satan. I just think they're demons. I think they... I think that it is a synthesis of the fascists in the administration wanting to show their absolute power over the country by just tearing down the White House and nobody can stop them, with Trump being like a prissy little drama queen who wants to build a big dictator palace. I don't think there's like I don't think there's much else to it. He would tear down the whole building if he could. Maybe he will.
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden
I'm going
patio,
into the back. Sorry. Go ahead.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
Not to my knowledge, no. But he's a builder at heart, clearly, and so his heart and his mind is always churning about how to improve things here on the White House grounds. But at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority. Kristen.
The government is never reopening, man.
p.m. here in Washington. Do you know where your White House is?
We are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House ballroom will begin.
It'll be built over on the east side, and it will be beautiful.
The White House ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House.
It won't interfere with the current.
What the absolute fuck is your country? I think this is the consequence to an extent of both radical, like fascist anti-art sentiment, but also the fact that America doesn't have much in the way of like a proud artistic, architectural, cultural history anyway, at least one that's respected by conservatives. America's big contributions to public culture have largely been like since 1900s black and brown people music, you know, Hollywood, but they don't like the music because it's black, and they don't like Hollywood because it's Jewish. They're not fans of any of these things, you know? Like, if you think of typical stately, classically American architecture, you have to think of like brick townhouses in Boston. You think of neighborhoods that are nowadays illegal to build. But for some reason, the White House is like neoclassical, which is like everywhere, and it's ugly everywhere, you know? I think a big problem here is that like conservatives don't believe in any kind of artistic direction for the country because there is no artistic direction in this halls of power, you know? There's nothing to worship, there's nothing to feel good about, there's nothing to care about.
Building, it'll be near it but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. Sir, this is
The existing building is gone.
White House. You're the President of the United States. You can do anything you want. And we did something that was really appropriate to the White House. You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that sound. It's a very special building, and we are taking care of it. But if I get money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House where we restore the White House. And we're doing a great job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction. We determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. You know, the East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was never thought of as being much. It was a very small building. In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
With any construction project, changes come.
Changes come. Here they are. Live pictures of the White House, your White House.
It's a video, actually.
The entire East Wing, now gone, reduced to rubble, to make way for President Trump's new ballroom. And now we're getting our first look from space. These new satellite images just in to CNN. The picture on the left showing the White House in October of last year. The picture on the right is from today. You can see on the right the demolition of...
Thank you for the pictures, Palantir.
...the East Wing. And this image sent to CNN from a passenger on a flight leaving the nation's capital today.
It's like an open wound, you know? It's such an obvious metaphor for the state of the country. It's going to look like this for years and years. There's no way to build a building this large quickly, you know? You want to build a big ballroom. You can't do that in 6 months. I mean, it's so on the nose.
Again, very clear to see. Today, the administration vigorously defending the project and its price tag. Because as the East Wing is coming down, we are learning that the price...
It really is crazy, by the way, that the thing the Democrats are hinging on to attack Trump over this is like the price of the ballroom construction, rather than the more obvious line, which you'd think they'd really, really want to go for, which is he hates this country, which he does. You'd think that like it'd be a pretty easy one, you know? It's the national century of humiliation. It's ridiculous. He's proving he can do literally anything that he wants. There's absolutely no holds in his power. No one's stopping him from doing anything.
This is going up from 250 million, then 200 million. The president now saying it's going to be more like 300 million. That is, of course, more than 650 times the average cost of a house in the United States. The press secretary...
Like, this is dickless. No one gives a shit. If they did renovations for the White House and it cost $10 billion, I wouldn't care. It's the White House. Yeah, I mean, obviously in this case, it's being funded for by private donors. So the Republicans have a counter to this anyway. They're like, well, it's not taxpayer dollars. He hates this country. They all hate this country.
Secretary today, again, pledging that taxpayers will not be on the hook for the bill.
We have released the full list of donors thus far.
Great audio.
Perhaps there will be more people who want to generously contribute to this project. And the president, yes, has committed his own resources. And when he releases that information, which I'm very confident he will, you will all see that.
It is true. The White House has released a list of the donors, or friends, as the president says, who are putting up money for this project. Some of the biggest names in crypto, in tobacco, the Winklevoss twins, companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, among others. But the White House hasn't released how
Isn't it
much.
so cool how Democrats can't even really attack this for what it is because they're just as in bed with the oligarchy? Remember Hakeem Jeffries going over to Silicon Valley after the inauguration fund contributions to try to like meekly, pathetically beg Silicon Valley to back Democrats again?
Much these people and corporations are giving, and how much the president is going to put up.
Just trust the process. This is going to be a magnificent addition to the White House for many years to come.
Trust the process. Let's get off the sidelines and head into the arena. My panel will be here, but we're going to get started with CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes. Kristen, what are we learning about the demolition? Who's paying for the new ballroom? And I mean, look, it really seemed to me that they felt like they needed to defend themselves today.
Yeah, they certainly did. They certainly did. And I think they're aware of
Well, they're just doing anything Trump asks, but it like obviously looks really bad to have a third of the White House destroyed, and it's going to stay that way for years. Like, of course they're defending it, but this is just it's just gonna get bowled over. I don't know, man. Jesus Christ. For such an ugly monstrosity too. Is this the architectural? Is this the company? This is the design they're going with. Just ugly. It's a eyesore, you know? So tacky. Well, it's perfect for Trump. He really does despise this country, man. All Dubai, Labubu Dubai, chocolate bullshit the whole way through. Go here and scroll through the major events timeline. Oh, yes, of course. So because the Republicans despise America, they have updated the White House website timeline, the major events timeline on the progress and development of the White House. So here you have, you know, rebuilding after the War of 1812, South and North Portico, you know, addition of the West Wing. We've all, you know, heard of this wonderful TV show. That's great. That's great. The Oval Office and so on. You know, it's a building. It gets renovated. And as you go along, here we go. Monica Lewinsky scandal, Muslim Brotherhood visit for Obama, cocaine discovered. See, there's Hunter Biden right there in the bathtub on the White House website. Trans Day of Visibility. There's some titties right there. That's great, you know. And then here's Trump, and he put a big flagpole up. The unambiguous message here from the White House is that it's okay to destroy the White House because it, along with this entire country, was never good anyway. It's like how Trump hates America just based on his rhetoric, like far more than anyone, even the most like cartoonish Twitter lefty. All Trump talks about is how this country is dying and falling apart, you know? The logical extension of this position, the logical conclusion, really, is that you can do anything you want to destroy it and its sacred symbols, because none of it means anything anyway, because all of it is disgusting and degenerate. In a way, it's actually more, it's almost more fascist than the Nazis, at least with regard to like this, how the dynamic and the dialectic plays out between kitsch and modernism and the relationship with your own national past. The Nazis took plenty of umbrage with, you know, the history of Germany. They wanted to make a fantasy version of Germany, essentially, right? You know, with you've got your Hyperborea and your Aryan history and the we was Nordics and so on. I mean, they you know, touched on the mystical quite a bit, but there is that interplay, right? You still have to love Germania. You still have to love the concept. But Republicans truly despise this country, man. They really do. Absolutely everything. They despise everything about it. What was that? What were the leaked messages from that one fellow recently, that other racist Republican, where he said explicitly the founding fathers were wrong. Men are not created equal. Classic. Yeah, very brave. Isn't this good for acceleration? I shouldn't have taught you guys what accelerationism is.